Hello students, I am Dr. Smita Kabir Mulani, Pandit Nehru Junior College, Kaulapur. I am going to present here Karmavir Vidya Prabodhini's Enhancement of Students Quality Program, in which the subject biology and the topic number 8, respiration and circulation. Now let's start. First of all, we are going to discuss about the respiration. In sixth standard, in seventh standard, we have you told the definition of respiration means it is a intake of O2 and release of CO2. No, we are 12th standard students. So here the respiration definition we require in brief manner. Now, what is the definition of respiration? The respiration means it is a oxidation process in which uh, glucose is break down into the simple form and release the energy in the form of ATP. Now, what is the respiration? It is a biochemical process. Respiration, it is a biochemical process in which oxidation of organic compound like glucose and it is converted into simple form like fructose or sucrose, and it is takes place in orderly manner and liberation of chemical energy in the form of ATP. So this is a C6H12O6, glucose, carbon dioxide and water vapors, they are released, and 38 ATPs. So energy is liberated in the form of ATP, and it is a biochemical process and it requires oxygen. So it is a, what is the definition? It is oxidation of organic compound and in a sequence manner and liberated energy in the form of ATP. Now, first of all, we will going to discuss about respiration in human being. Before that, we are going to discuss about gaseous exchange in plants. In terrestrial plants, the respiration takes place by uh, the lenticels in the by the stomata, O2 CO2 exchange in trees and shrubs. Here also the mechanism of respiration is carried by diffusion. Now, what is mean by diffusion? Diffusion means any molecule of solid, liquid or gases, it transfer from high concentration to low concentration. So diffusion, by the diffusion mechanism, respiration which are carried by the stomata, lenticels and cuticle in the terrestrial flowering plants. Now, for the respiration, which are the key factors which are required for exchange of O2, CO2 gases? There are some key factors which are the exchange between the stomata or the lenticels or cuticle or in our human body, the alveoli. So, alveoli or all the walls of cell walls, they are allows gases exchange by the diffusion mechanism. So they must be thin wall. The cells, they are or respiratory surface of that cell, it becomes thin walls for easy diffusion. Then moist inner surface. To exchange of gases, they are dissolved in a liquid to diffuses, so the surface become moist. The surface becomes moist. Then large surface area. Large surface area, it allows more gas exchange. Large surface area which requires more gas exchange to simultaneously and reach blood supply is the fourth characteristics of a respiratory surface. A dense network of capillaries, they are very close to the respiratory surface for the transport of O2 and CO2. So what are the respiratory surfaces? What are the key factors of the respiratory surface? It must be thin wall, it should be moist surface and large surface area. It allows more area for gas exchange and it has a dense supply of blood. Examples of respiratory surface in different lower organisms. That chart is very important because it is asking for the MCQs, CET and NEET, because this table is very important. A type of respiration. Which type of respiration occurs in amoeba and paramecium? They are the lower organisms, protozoa, animal-like protozoa. So in that, respiration takes place by the cell surface. Arthropoda. In arthropoda, the class insect, the respiration carried by the trachea or tracheal respiration. In fishes, the respiration by branchial respiration and the organs involved, which is gills. Let's see here in the insects, respiration by trachea and tracheoles. In amoeba, the general body surface, by the body surface, respiration takes place. In frog, when the frog, it is an amphibian. Frog is an amphibian, lives on the land and in water. So both type of mechanism, by the skin, it is a cutaneous respiration, and by the buccal cavity, it is a buccal respiration. So two types of respiration seen in the amphibian, that is frog. In amphibians, except frog, remaining amphibians, reptiles and birds, we are also human being, mammals, the respiration by the lungs. So lungs, it is also called as pulmonary. So this type of respiration, it is called as pulmonary respiration. That chart is very important because of CT and NEET questions, MCQ questions. Now we are going to well uh, 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 we are going to detailed study of human respiratory system. Here our human respiratory system, upper respiratory system, in which includes, this is the nose, the chamber, that is a nasal chamber. This is the mouth, they have opened here the pharynx. So pharynx is a common opening of nose and mouth. After that, from the mouth, pharynx, this is the esophagus, and nose, nasal chamber, pharynx, and here it is a trachea or windpipe. But before that, this is the larynx. On that larynx, the vocal cord is present. In the male, the vocal cord is swollen, and it is called as Adam's apple. So that upper system, this is the upper respiratory system, and from the trachea, this is the lower respiratory system. It includes trachea. It has the trachea. It has a trachea, capital C shape, cartilaginous lining, cartilaginous rings are there. So this is called as a trachea. Then they are bifurcated into two. It is called as bronchi. Primary bronchi. Primary bronchi, it is divided into secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, and then end into bronchioles. And this is the lungs, left side, it is a left lung, right side of lung, it is called as right lung. So these are the lower respiratory tract. First of all, we are here in detail about the every organ. Nose, it is an external nair. It is also called as a nostrils. Then second one is this is the nose. Then this is the nasal cavity. Nasal cavity. So two nasal chambers. They are MCQ question. MCQ question. Two nasal chambers, left and right. Two nasal chambers. They are separated by the mesomyid cartilage. Then second one is this is the mouth, pharynx. So nose, so nasopharynx, mouth, oropharynx, and larynx, so laryngopharynx. The pharynx, it is differentiated into three parts: nose, nasopharynx, mouth, pharynx. Mouth means oral, oropharynx, and before the trachea, the larynx is present, and it is called as laryngopharynx. Pharynx, upper nasopharynx, middle oropharynx, and lower part is laryngopharynx. Lymphoid organs, lymphatic system. Lymphoid organs are name is the tonsils. They are present in between nasopharynx and oropharynx. Tonsils are present between the nasopharynx and oropharynx at the both each side of the tongue. Larynx, it opens into laryngopharynx by a glottis. Now, and that glottis is a glottis, that glottis here, the flap-like structure, it is called as epiglottis. It is called as epiglottis. What is the mechanism of epiglottis? Epiglottis to prevent the entry of food into the trachea. Into the trachea. So at the opening of uh, la- uh, pharynx, then larynx, then see, this is the larynx, this is the trachea, and the opening of trachea, there is a flap-like structure. It is called as epiglottis. What is the function of epiglottis? To prevent the entry of food in the trachea. Then lungs. This is the trachea. It is on the trachea C-shaped cartilaginous rings, but these cartilaginous rings, they are incomplete. In that manner, on the tracheal pipe, the cartilaginous C-shaped rings, they are incomplete. They cannot the complete ring. Why? And why the cartilaginous rings are present on trachea? Because the tracheal pipe, cannot be collapsed. So to give a straight nature, the cartilaginous rings, they are incomplete ring present on the trachea. And below the trachea, there is a esophagus, and esophagus, it is a pipe of digestive alimentary canal system. These trachea, they are open into a bronchi. They are open into bronchi. Here, the two lobes of lungs. Each lung and lungs is enclosed by a protective covering. It is called as pleural membrane. The outer membrane is called as parietal membrane, and inner layer of the lung are the lungs. They are enclosed by two layer. Outer layer is called as parietal membrane, inner enclosed to the lungs. The inner layer, it is called as visceral membrane, and between the two these layers, the pleural cavity, and it is filled with a lubricating pleural fluid to minimize the friction of the lungs movement. So right lungs is larger than left lung, and it is divided into three lobes. Right lung divided into three lobes, and left lungs, it is divided into two lobes. Each lobe has terminal bronchioles. Trachea, it is divided into a bronchi. Bronchi is divided into primary bronchi, then it again divided into secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi. It ends into bronchioles, and at each bronchioles there are 10 to 12 alveoli sacs. 10 to 12 alveoli air sacs are present at the end of bronchioles. And what is the specific structure of alveoli? Alveoli, it is not flaccid. Like the balloon, it is not flaccid. When we blow the wind into the air, into the balloon becomes swollen. So air sacs or alveoli structure is also like a spherical and swollen type. It is highly elastic, and it is made up of which types of tissue? Squamous, simple epithelial tissues. In the lungs, MCQ, in the lungs, near about 700 million alveoli are present. They have thin walls, they have dense supply of blood capillaries, they have more surface area, for gaseous exchange, and the alveoli sacs, they are also moist. So these are the key characteristics for the respiration. Now next point is a diaphragm. See, before that, this is the diagram of alveoli. Alveoli, this is the bronchioles. It terminates into the bronchioles. There are near about 10 to 12 alveolar sacs. These alveolar sacs, they have dense network of blood capillaries. This is the, see, this is the pulmonary arteriole. The pulmonary arteriole, there comes from the heart. They supplies, they carrying the deoxygenated blood from the heart, except pulmonary artery, but all the arteries which carries the oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. This is the pulmonary venule, that is the veins, which carries oxygenated blood, means exchange of O2 and CO2 takes place in the alveoli and dense network of these blood capillaries. So alveolar sac receives the deoxygenated blood, and they supplies blood to pulmonary venules. They supplies the oxygenated blood in, and they release the oxygenated blood in pulmonary venules. Next is the diaphragm. Diaphragm is a muscular dome-shaped septum which separate the body. This is the upper thorax and abdomen. So due to this diaphragm, they separate our body parts, thoracic region and abdominal region. Now this is the flow chart which showing the involved respiratory passage. The according surrounding environment, from the surrounding environment, the air is comes in the nose, then there comes the wind, or the air passes into nasal chamber, internal layers, nasopharynx, then glottis. What is the glottis? Glottis, it is a part of larynx above the trachea, tracheal upper part, the tracheal windpipe, upper part of trachea, it is called as larynx. The larynx, here the sound box is present, and on that larynx, the glottis is present. On that glottis, there is a flap-like structure. It is called as epiglottis, which prevents the food particles into the windpipe. Then trachea, primary trachea, they are divided into two bronchi. Bronchi is again divided into primary, then secondary, then tertiary bronchiole, and they'll end in bronchioles. So these are the conducting of air from external environment to nose or toward the lungs. So they are the conducting part. Now respiratory part, exchange of O2 and CO2. So exchange of oxygen and CO2 takes place between alveolar duct, arteria, alveolar sac, and oxygenated blood carried by the pulmonary veins. So and the single sac is called as alveoli.